She was also very rude. She said, I don't need you here. I don't need any of your help. Get out of here. And then I asked her, may I know your name? You know what she did? She took her badge and threw at me. She threw the badge at me.
Were you, your whole experience there, were you shocked at the level of crookedness that was going on and dishonesty?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Did it happen every day?
I mean, then November 4th at TCF Center, around 5:30, I decided to stay. They didn't give me any work. I even asked Daniel Baxter, can I do something else? I can help with the counting board table, anything you want me to do. I came here to work till 5:30. Nobody was giving me anything. I just sat there and 5:30, around 5:30, Mr. George Azus came to me and said, uh, I'm so sorry, Jesse, you didn't do anything wrong. I apologize. I'm so sorry. That's what he told me. And he asked me for my business card. I had my business card with me. I gave him my business card and I decided to go home around 5:30. But he was nice to me, George Azus. But I can never forget what I went through. It is there are, and also I was really concerned if these bags were problematic, why they were bringing that to the podium. It should have been kept at the counting board table and it should have been resolved, whatever the issue with those ballots. It should have been resolved at the respective counting boards. It should not have been even brought to the podium in the first place. So I don't know. I really don't know. And also after they fixed that ballot, who was taking ballot to where? I didn't know. So everything what was going on at the podium was not right.
Jesse?
Yes.
The podium is where they bring the ballots that have big problems, right? Special problems.
Yeah, some of them didn't have the counting board, so they could not locate that ballot. That ballot belonged to which counting board. Some of the ballot didn't have the ballot number.
So these were ballots with extra special problems. And you were there a day and a half. And how many ballots were examined while you were there? And there was no inspection by a Republican inspector. Can you estimate that for me? I think in the past you told me 25,000.
Actually, I worked at the Cobo TCF Center on November 4th from 8:30 to 5:30.
Correct.
And then when I asked George Azus, I told George Azus, actually I was told to continue to work for the election department till November 20th. So I asked George Azus, where do you want me to come tomorrow? And he said, oh, we are all done here. You can go back to the election headquarters. So I went back to election headquarters on November 5th. So basically they allow me to be there only on one day, not even one day, maybe for 2 hours, but I was there till 5:30. But I had to go through this so inhumane, I mean,
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Jesse, about your experience?
I just want to be so thankful. I've been in this country for 35 years. I'm so thankful for this country, for all the opportunities. And I am who I am because of this nation. And also, I'm a devoted Catholic, and I was able to go to church and pray and rosary and everything. I really love this country, and I really want to do. I hope this will help this nation. That's the only reason I'm here. Um, and also my 3 children. Thank you, Jesus, for all the blessings and graces that you are showering upon us and on all this nation. I have nothing else to say. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jesse. Would you say, Jesse, that that was an experience that you never expected to have, that much crookedness and dishonesty at the Detroit Center for Counting Votes? Were you shocked at the level of dishonesty and crookedness there?
Yes, I mean, the whole center was so kind of
Hold
noisy.
on, that's my city, okay? And
Representative.
I know that's not true.
Representative,
Why?
Representative,
I'm not, oh, I love my city, Detroit.
Ma'am.
I've been with the city for 34 years. I've been serving the citizens of Detroit, so I'm so happy. They are all nice people. I'm not saying, they don't deserve this. They are nice people. My supervisor at the engineering department, I've been with the city for 34 years, from 2007 to 2010. I was the city engineer appointed by Comey Kilpatrick. And now I am the head engineer. I'm working with my supervisor and my director. They are all very nice people. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm talking about this, my experience when I worked at the elections, first time in my life, for 2 months, about 2 months, what I experienced. But as an employee of the city of Detroit, oh, I'm so grateful to them. I'm so thankful to each and every of my coworkers. They are all very nice. So please don't misunderstand me, Miss
Ma'am, please direct your question to the chair.
Miss Johnson. Please don't take it.
Yeah, so I'll, if it's all right, we'll start here now. And Mr. Mayor, I do want to remind you, I mean, we're not going to go till 1 or 2 a.m. So I understand that, you know, this is somebody, I mean, obviously you're very brave to come forward with your story. I can tell you care a lot about your job, your work. And I appreciate you sharing it here today because I know it's been difficult for you.
Yes, it is.
With that, I'm going to open it up to questions. We'll do one question per member who wants it. Then when you're done, we'll move on. And Mr. Mayor, with the next witnesses, we're going to have to move along faster.
Sure.
All right. With that, I'll move on to Representative LaFave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming and testifying today, and I'm very glad that you've decided to be a part of our country. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have one question as per the rule, and it might sound like a series. Anything that I say is wrong, please correct me, okay?
Sure.
You were told to enter the ballots at the TCF hall as received on 11/2,
Yes.
and that was not the date. You also were told by Mr. Chris Thomas, why should we punish voters for processors' mistakes? And Chris Thomas identified a ballot that you showed him within a signature that did not match the qualified voter file,
Yes.
and directed, Chris Thomas said, let it go, that's fine.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Representative LeGrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and ma'am, thank you for being here today. I'm going to refer back to my notes here. This is about, I don't know, maybe around 6:30 we got to this. You said that about, and I'm reading from my notes here, so if I get this wrong, again, feel free to correct me. But if I understand your testimony, you're saying that about 14 days before the election, your supervisor, Carla, told you that people could vote without ID. And you said that for your peace of mind, you insisted that people provide ID. Are you aware that people in Michigan can vote without identification? In fact, I've always voted that way.
Did you discriminate yourself?
Yeah,
not aware of that.
So,
Members of the audience, please, let's be respectful. Thank you.
Yeah. Are you aware of that, ma'am?
see, 0 to 14 days, 0 to 14 days, that is the restricted registration time. You have to have the ID and also the proof of residency. And if you don't have the driver's license, you have to submit an affidavit, and also you have to have a passport or something, photo ID. That's my understanding.
Okay, you're confused. Thank you.
Representative Steve Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When you were processing these ballots, at any point in time, were there ever any poll watchers, poll challengers? And if so, were they from both parties or just one party?
Just from Democratic Party. Actually, one day I happened to talk to one of the persons. She came from DC, Democratic Party. I don't remember seeing anybody from the other party.
Representative C.A. Johnson?
I'll come back, but,
Representative C.A. Johnson, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Johnson.
Your name is Jesse
Jacob.
Jesse Jacobs. Is that your birth name?
Okay. My first name is Jesse. When I was married, my husband's last name is Jacob. When I got married in 1983, 37 years ago, I had my maiden name. That's my dad's house name. It's a long name.
Can you spell it, please?
K like kite, Izhakekara.
Representative, what is your question, please?
I'm asking the question.
Well, please ask.
She gave a lot of information. I just want to know who she is.
Representative, please, it's reasonable to ask the name of the person.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. But now that you know it,
What was your first name? Well,
Jesse.
Jesse. Thank you.
Jessy, not E.
Jessy.
Y.
Thank you very much.
okay, now please move on to your question,
That's
Representative.
it. You asked
Okay.
that one.
Thank you. Representative,
And my middle name is Sunny. My middle name is Sunny. Sunny.
and I think it's important, Representative C.A. Johnson, I mean, if that was, I mean, we're not here to intimidate people. I mean, these
That's
are,
okay, that's okay.
okay, I mean, we want to hear what happened. So Representative Camilleri, please proceed with your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Giuliani, before you began.
Yeah, well, the question is for the witness. As I told you at the end, you're able to ask a question to Mr. Giuliani.
We have three people actually before our panel today. And each of them is before our panel. And I know that you gave your power away to Mr. Giuliani to ask questions during this part of the testimony. That's fine. But it is now my right as a representative to ask a question of the people before our committee. This is not for,
You're out of order.
this is not
You
Four
do not
Seasons
have a question.
landscaping. This is a committee of the state legislature. I should have a right to ask a question of who is before us.
I will allow you to ask a question at the end of Mr. Giuliani, as I stated at the beginning. If you have a question for the witness, Ms. Jacob, please ask it. If you don't, then I'm going to move on.
Ms. Jacobs, I know that you've given testimony previously. We've heard your story in the media. I know that you gave testimony yesterday as well. Judge Kenny in Wayne County Circuit Court.
May I ask?
You did not give testimony yesterday.
I apologize.
Okay, yeah, Representative,
I
please
apologize.
tell us your
That's very
question.
misleading.
You've asked a lot of misleading questions yourself, Mr. Giuliani.
Representative Camilleri, please, what is your question?
My question, Ms. Jacobs, is Judge Kenny has ruled that your testimony in court is incorrect and not credible. So why should we believe anything that you said here today?
I'm not aware of any such ruling. She's never been a witness in court. It would have been impossible for a judge to.
Your affidavit was ruled
May I please finish?
incorrect and not
May I
credible.
have the courtesy of finishing?
No.
What,
She has never been a witness in court, so no judge could ever have assessed her credibility.
What is your question, Mr. Camilleri?
Why are we listening to your story here today if it has already been ruled incorrect and not credible by a judge in court?
It has not been ruled. Objection.
It has, well, this is
Okay.
not a courtroom, Mr.
Representative,
Giuliani, this is a committee. Why do you keep objecting to what I'm saying?
Representative, is there an answer to that?
Okay, you can go and ask the judge who denied that, okay? I don't know anything about it.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on. Vice Chair Riley with a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, my question, I noticed you said you looked at some of the signatures. Well, like what percentage of the signatures would you say did not match, did not?
No, when I was at the satellite sites working as a processor, I always made sure the signatures matched. This was a TCF center on November 4th.
And yeah, and at that point, did you look at any of the signatures?
Yes,
And
and I showed that to Mr. Chris Thomas, and he said, let it go. It was totally different, let it go. And after that, I was kicked out. I was told not to validate any more ballots
so just one chance, okay,
for that day, yes.
thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, there are no more questions for you, Ms. Jacob. Thank you for your testimony today. You're very brave coming here, and thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so thankful to this honorable body for having me and for listening to me. Thank you so much.
I understand we have next Melissa Carbone. Carone. All right, please come up when you're ready, and if possible, if we can limit this to 10 minutes, I'd appreciate that. Mr. Giuliani, you indicated that the first person was somebody who hadn't testified before, didn't testify yesterday.
Longer than I expected.
Sure, and so we
I
gave
felt
her.
uncomfortable interrupting.
No, I understand, and I think she had a very valuable story to tell, and she was very brave coming here. Obviously, a great risk, and we understand that. But from here on, if we can condense these testimonies, we can allow more questions to come from the members. We'd appreciate that, sir. So with that, please, Melissa, we'd like to hear your story, and please, when you're ready, proceed.
Melissa, why don't you tell us your name and tell us short and briefly as you can what happened when you were working for Dominion.
Sure. My name is Melissa Carone. I was contracted to work for Dominion Voting Systems. I'm a freelance IT worker. I was contracted to work for Dominion to assist with IT during the election. I started work at 6 a.m. on November 3rd at the TCF Center. I got off work at 5 a.m. November 4th. Went home, went to bed, returned to work at 10 a.m. November 4th, stayed until approximately 2 p.m. November 4th. When I got off, I had a doctor's appointment. I was supposed to come back to work. One of the Dominion employees, he's in my affidavit, his name is Samuel, texted me and said, we're almost done counting ballots. We don't need you to come back. It was getting a little rowdy when I left. I really didn't want to come back anyways. So that is why that I was contracted to work for Dominion, assisting with IT.
And when you were working there, what did you observe?
I observed numerous employees, city workers, running batches of ballots through the tabulators countless times without discarding them first. The tabulating machines would jam 2 to 3 times an hour. When they would jam, the correct process would be to pull out the problem ballot that jammed. Say the problem ballot was number 24 out of 50. I wasn't allowed to touch any hardware at all. I would assist them, tell them to pull out this ballot, put the problem ballot on top. In Michigan, our ballots from the tabulators don't just drop into steel ballot boxes. They are now, as they got tabulated, they are now on top of the tabulating machine, okay? So instead of them taking these, so say, let's keep it number 25, is it the problem ballot, it got jammed. So the computer would throw an error, it would say ballot number 25, there's an error. I would say pull out ballot number 25, slowly pull it out, put it on top, take the ballots that had already been tabulated, which are on top of the tabulating machine now, put them all back in a stack, discard the entire batch, and re-scan it. Instead of discarding, they were just re-scanning, counting ballots 9 to 10 times, counting votes 9 to 10 times.
So they were counting the same ballot, the same vote, 9 or 10 times.
Yes, sir. They were counting them 9 or 10.
How many times did you observe them?
These machines would jam 2 to 3 times an hour. Each machine, there were approximately 22 to 24 tabulating machines in the TCF center. I observed it thousands of times.
Thousands of times? And how many were there 20 machines approximately?
Approximately between 22 to 24.
And were there any Republicans who were observing or just Democrats?
I saw very few Republicans, about 3.
How about those 20 machines? Did you see any of them observing those 20 machines where the ballot was being put in 10 or 20 times?
Big question. I got some of them questioning me. My manager had came up to me. I had called my manager over to a specific tabulating machine. I showed him a number on it, which was close to 500. It should never go over 50. Ballots come in batches of 50. I said, we have a severe problem here. Nick, atomic monogamous, which is a part owner of Dominion. And he said, Melissa, I don't want to hear that we have a problem. He said, we are here to assist with IT. We are not here to run their election. That is exactly what he said to me. At that point, I was just really frustrated and upset. I could tell what was going on. I knew what was going on at that point.
What was going on?
He was in on it. They were all in on it.
You know what?
They were cheating. It was very, very apparent. It was apparent he knew. It was apparent that he was in on it. And when he caught on to me knowing that he was in on it, he just wanted nothing to do with me.
Now, did there come a time when 2 vans pulled up in the back late at night?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Approximately 4 o'clock, the garage door of the TCF center opened. The counting room in the TCF center is in the basement. So when the garage door opened, a van pulled up. One on day shift, one on night shift. They were supposed to be for food because they were short on food for the workers. That's what they said over the microphone. That's what Daniel Baxter said. He said they had food for 1/3 of the workers, and that they would provide food and it would be there shortly. Well, food never came out of these
Point of order.
Yes, what's your point of order,
Point of
Representative?
We have these people coming in here testifying, making claims. They should be under, we should have them under,
Oh.
under hold.
Representative, we don't do that. Representative, we're not gonna do that. You're out of
I had to
order.
be on the table.
You're out of order, Representative. We don't do that here in Michigan. We've never done that.
I wrote an affidavit.
Mr. Chairman, she has an
The Biden
affidavit.
never has done.
She has an affidavit under oath.
Representative.
Hold your own.
Please continue, and if we could have fewer back and forth, and maybe you can tell your story. No, I'm talking with Mr. Giuliani. We really want to get through this, and this is sort of a format that is a little unusual to our committee. So if it's possible to tell a little more of your story, and I understand you're trying to speed it up, but we want to make sure we get through everything today, Mr. Giuliani.
So I have 19 things in my affidavit. I was at the TCF Center for 27 hours. I'm a mother. I have 2 children and I have 2 degrees. I'm very, I would never, I don't know any woman in the world that would write an affidavit under oath just to write it. You know, you can go to prison for this. So anyways, I want to make this very clear. I was initially supposed to work at the Detroit Department of Elections building. That was an order by my manager.